Hey guys, my name is Aaron from Geeky Development and welcome to our Xcode tutorials. In this tutorial, we're going to be creating our very own image gallery application from using collection views within the Swift language. Now before we jump straight into this, if you enjoy this tutorial and want to further your knowledge and learning ability, why not enroll in one of the many courses we have available on iOS development. All links for these will be down below in the description. But let's jump straight in to the tutorial. In the last lecture, we set up our very own Big Cats collection view application. We're now getting to the point where it now populates the collection view with one specific entry within our P list for each of the items of our Big Cats, which happens to be our images. We're now moving on to this lecture where we're going to talk about how we can resize the collection views for the individual different screen sizes to make it universal. Now it's not as simple as adding in constraints because it's a weird object within a view controller that we don't really have any control over in terms of using constraints. So we're going to have to manually code it to resize for us, which is pretty cool because it gives us a great level of control and can make us have different cell sizes for the individual different screens. So as it stands right now, if I jump back into our project here and bring up our little side panel, if I select our little collection view here, there we go, and go to our size inspector, you can see it currently that they're 170 by 125, and we're currently kind of viewing it on the iPhone 8 simulator. If I was to go, for example, for the iPhone X simulator, again, even though it looks a little bit resized, a little bit different, it kind of bugs out a little bit. Don't worry about that too much. It stays the same. And if I went for then the bigger one, nothing really changes. If I copied and pasted it, so I had like multiple cells, and you can see how the gap in between gets bigger and bigger. And we really don't want that to happen. We want the cell to get bigger or smaller to compensate for the view changing. So what we're going to do then, let's put it back to the original one. We're going to talk about how we can detect the screen size and then how we can then make the cells perform and resize themselves depending on what's simply going down. So this is all going to rely within a certain function within our class. So go to our collection view.swift here and I'll get rid of our side panel there. And we'll scroll down all the way to the bottom so everything's out the way. I'll get rid of all this kind of commented code there because we don't really need it in for the most part. And just after where we kind of, let's get rid of that disable breakpoint there. Can I delete it altogether? There we go. So just after where it configures our cell, we're going to add in a brand new function. So this function is basically what's known as the collection view layout, which gives the ability to size for the item. So what we can simply type out now then is collection view layout, and we need the one that then sizes for the item, which should be down here somewhere. If not, I can simply type it out myself. So size for item, which it doesn't simply want to be appearing. And it could come down to the fact that we need to add in our delegate at the top. That's where it could be missing our reference. So we'll quickly scroll to the top, then if you do a UI collection view here, do a comma and add in our UI collection, let me quickly find it, of our view kind of flow layout. We need to add in the delegate. So UI collection there, quickly find the delegate for it. There we go, so our UI collection view delegate flow layout. So by adding that in then, should enable us then to reference that function that we need. So back down below and then press Command B just to build the project quickly so we can get that delegate added in. Now if I type in size for item now, which we now getting more options pop up, and there it is. So size for item at index path. That's the one that we need, and I'll space out the code. So this function, once you added the delegate in, allows us then to read it to perform actions depending on the screen size of the application. But first then we need to detect the current screen size of the app. So which is where we're going to reference now and use a kind of basic and simple method and function. So we're going to create a let and we'll simply call our let now our screen size. That's going to go on to equal, or kind of be linked to our colon there, our cgrect, which is kind of how we call upon the bounds of a screen. And that's going to equal then our UI screen dot main dot bounds. So when we call upon our screen size, which let me just quickly make sure that's spelled correctly, what that does then, the application knows that it's linked to the bounds of our screen. But the bounds of the screen, we don't really know what it's going to be because it can simply change all the time. So we first need to detect it, and what we can do is simply call upon the ability to say, if it equals this width or this height, then perform this action. And that's what we're going to get it set up to do. So we could say something like, if our screen size is equal, for example, the value of 100, then perform this action. So if the screen size has a width of 100, then we want the cells inside of it to equal a certain, size. So if the screen size here, and we need to determine what it's going to be, is it the width or is it the height? So we do dot width. And that's what we're going to simply be working with within this section. We're not going to change the height because the height can be kind of it can be a bit weird because there is some weird heights, and a lot of devices do have similar heights where the width changes more than the height does. Believe it or not, it's a weird one. So that's what we're going to simply base it off. So if the screen width here equals 100, then tell the cells to equal this certain size. But we don't really know how we're going to tell the cells to do it. So we need to create, just underneath where we've got our let here, two variables. We don't want to create them as lets are kind of, they don't change. They're like a solid value that never updates or changes. We want to create them as variables so we can adjust them as we progress through the code, because they're going to be constantly changing. And we're going to call it our width cell, as this is going to be what the value is going to be linked towards when we adjust the cell. So I'm going to equal to 0 for now. We'll create another one, and we'll call this one our height, if I spell it correctly, our height cell, and equal it to 0. So we've just got these two variables that we've now added in. They equal to 0, but they will eventually start changing. So we're going to have a bunch of little warnings and stuff right now, and we'll sort these out in just a second. We've got these in because we're not referencing them. So after the kind of if statement there, we can have a bunch of these different if statements in anyway for all the individual screen sizes. But whatever the screen size may be, we always need to return then space our CG size. Let me do our bracket there. And we need our width and our height. And it's always going to return in the width, our width for the cell, and the height, our height for the cell. Now, this is going to update. Even though it says it equals 0 right now, it's going to return 0, 0. So we don't really want that to happen. And this is where we then change it within the if statements. So if the screen width equals 100, we call upon our width cell to equal a new value. We then call upon our height cell to also equal a new value. So this is where we determine what the cell is going to be. There's a lot going on, but we'll break it down to make it a lot easier right now. So how do we know what the screen width is? Well, a very simple method to do is I've got a little kind of resource loaded up here on the internet at paintcodeapp.com, which gives us the ultimate guide to iPhone resolutions. And this is what we want to work with. We're going to be working with the points. So you can see right now then, if, each one here, the iPhone X has a point in terms of its width and simply its height. And this is where we're going to take in the information from it. So, for example, we'll work with our first one then, which will be the iPhone X. So it has a width here of 375 by 812. So we want to take the 375. So back in Xcode then, if the screen width here equals 375, what that's going to make it do then is get our cell width and our cell height to equal a certain value. So if I quickly jump into our main.storyboard, let's change it to, for example, the iPhone X here. Screen, and then we'll click on the cell itself. Forget that it kind of weirdly adjusts like that. It's a little bug within Xcode. And if I paste these in right now, pretty much as it looks right now, I'm pretty much happy with. You might do the odd little few configuration, like width, do it 175. How would that look? 172 maybe? You can pretty much get away with that. So let's say we want the width to be 172 by 125. So if I go back to my collection view here now, change this to be 172 in the width and the height 125, and that's how we determine it to be that size. So back in the main.storyboard now, if I could quickly just undo what I've just done here so the application doesn't crash. There we go. And if I go to build and run now then, technically you won't see any difference. If it looks normal, that's how you know it's worked. So we just wait for it to build and run, and as it loads up, it displays it just like that. So nothing's really changed. And you're probably thinking, so what have we actually done then? Well, we've actually made it be that size. just to make you show that it does actually change, if I put this to 100, that's a dramatic difference. It's almost half of its original size in terms of its width. So the cells would now be a lot skinnier, which you can now see they are. And then they're displaying 3 on a row. So this shows you it detects the screen width there and then equals the cell to a certain size. So we just need to run through then each of the individual screen sizes. So if I quickly undo that, there we go. And what I'll do, I'll comment this here. So let's say this is the iPhone X. There we go. We know that's that one. So if I copy this then and paste it down below, so it's going to be the iPhone X. And if you quickly bring up that resource again, you'll notice that it has a width of 375. Also that has a width of 375 is the iPhone 6, 6S, 7 and 8. So we could technically say that this is the iPhone X 6, 7 and 8 as well. That takes care of all of that. This one will be the 6 Plus, 7 Plus and 8 Plus. So this is the next screen size up, which will be 414. So back in Xcode then, we changed it, well it equals to 414. Now when it comes to the sizes, we'll keep the height the same. It's only the width that's really going to be changing because it's getting wider and wider. So back in our main.storyboard then, how we detect that then is we say we bring up the larger plus size here and then we copy and paste in the cells so we can see how they would look. Click on the collection view itself and let's adjust this to 180. How does that look? Let's go 190. So 190 could be the perfect one. We'll go 192 maybe or 191. I think 191 would be the perfect one. So if I then quickly undo all that, put it back to what it originally was. So 191. So before I do adjust it, if I went and built on the, for example, the iPhone 8 Plus simulator now, we'll just wait for this to load up. We'll have a big gap in between the two cells because obviously we haven't, we basically told it at this point now to have the same cell width and height as what we'd have on the iPhone X, 6, 7 and 8. So we'll see how it looks now then. There we go. You can see it's got the big gap in between. So we change that to 191 and now go to build and run. So it's pretty cool how we can then detect it. Detect it and make each cell look a little bit different. We can make them look bigger, smaller, wider, shorter, and there you go. Now we've added in the 191, how it resizes. And just to show that it's not kind of, clashing between the two if statements, if I was to go and build and run now on the iPhone X, you'll see that it also looks perfect on there because it's unable to read this if statement because the screen width doesn't equal those point values. And there you go. It is pretty cool, isn't it? So let's move on to the next one then. Let's copy and paste this. So the next one for us then would be, if I go to the main.storyboard here, I get rid of our debug area, we're going down and getting even smaller now, which this happens to be then, if I go back to our little internet resource, the iPhone 5, 5S, 5C and SE, which has a point value of 320, so does the 4 and 4S, so does the 2G, so everything else after that point has a point value of 320. Now granted, if you are working with iPads, you will need to find the iPad value as well. So I think it does have it within this website. It has an ultimate guide to iPhone. I believe it's at the iPad as well anyway. But that's what you want to look for. You want to look for the point value in the width. So everything else on iPhone is 320. So I don't really need to adjust that for us myself then. So let me quickly go back to our collection view here. So this is 320. I can pretty much say every other iPhone. that's pretty much what I could say right there. So when it comes to this then, this is going to be a lot smaller, granted. So I'll just put 2 in there for now. And let's adjust it. So let's start at 120. 150. Let's go 140. Ooh, 145. 144 maybe? 144 seems the perfect size there for me, so we'll take that. So let's undo then back to where we originally was. There we go. So 144, and that should set the size up for that. So again, if you wanted to add in iPad, then what you got to do is find the iPad point value. A simple Google search, or I believe you could get it on that website. I have a feeling that they should do it. If not, just simply type into Google iPad screen resolution by points. just get the width value and add in the rest for it and configure your cells to how you need it to be. And that simply sets us up there to have it pretty much universal. It's kind of annoying that we can't do it by constraints, but at the same time, I kind of like that we can't do it by constraints because it allows us to, manually tweak it down to the smallest pixel. So it looks really good. So even though it looks pretty much the same as it has been doing on the iPhone X, it now works fluidly on all different screen sizes. So now we know that the collection view is pretty much set up to be universal, we're ready to jump into our next lecture of creating this application, where we're going to be pushing to a detail view. We're going to set up that interface all ready to start populating it with the rest of the information from our big cats.
Hey, 4.2 Xcode. 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 4.2